here we are, folks. It's program time. It's 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and it's 7 p.m. at my home here in Sedona, Arizona. And folks, it is nice to be back. It's been a while since I've done a live program. I've been away for a while because I've had this extended time that I've been in Hong Kong that I've shared with you, on the newsletters, and I'll explain, tonight about what goes on there. But there's an interesting fact that says, well, why is it 7 p.m. in Arizona? You're usually the same as, the West Coast. Well, what most people don't know, Arizona is one of two states that doesn't change its clocks, in the spring and in the fall. We leave our clocks the same all year long, so we don't change clocks, we change time zones. So in the summertime, we're in the Pacific time zone, and then in the wintertime, we're in the mountain time zone. So it's 7 o'clock here at my home in Sedona, Arizona. As I said, it's nice to be back for a live program that is there. Okay, last weekend, I was in Norway for a workshop, and thank you again for all the wonderful people that were there. We had just about 140 people there that showed up for the workshop in the Oslo area. And the people there are just absolutely wonderful and great. They're very faithful, and it was just nice to be there with them. And again, I haven't done any workshops for a while, and I won't be doing any. The people in Norway invited me. I did not plan that workshop, so they asked me to come, and I said fine. I had no problem with that. And the reason is because, folks, we're going to probably be very busy coming up here very soon. Now, on the currency exchange, that's the thing that we're always most concerned about, always wondering about, and when is it going to happen? Well, I'll explain that tonight, and I can give you some really good updates because it all has to do with the time that I was in Hong Kong with the gentleman called the ambassador. He's a member of the Dragon family, and he is their representative with these issues. I had spent a considerable amount of time with him, learned a lot about the family. Now, what I want to do is that, see, the Dragon family are the ones that are funding our currency exchange. And the reason we had such an extended time was because, see, there's two funding issues that are going on. There's the funding of the currency exchange. Well, there was another separate funding that was coming to the ambassador, and it was running in the area of around 25 to 30 million dollars. See, now the Dragon family has this enormous amount of funds available, but members of the family cannot access the large family funds without permission from the Council of Elders. Well, the ambassador, though, has a separate account that is his solely, and this was money that was in India, and I started, meeting with him all the way back in July, and supposedly in August is when those funds were supposed to come through. Well, they just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And it was just crazy, all these delays that were going on. And that's what we were waiting for, because not only was he going to get all that money, I was going to get a large sum personally myself from what was coming through for him. Well, I had to basically come back home because I had to go to the workshop. Well, his funds have finally arrived. Now, sometime in the near future, in the next somewhere between 2 days to a week, I'm going to be going back to Hong Kong. But his funds had finally arrived, and he may end up money wiring some of those funds to me first of all before I end up going on there. Now let me tell you a little bit about the Dragon family and where are they getting all this money? Where does all this come from? This is an ancient family that they can trace their genealogy back well over 3,000 to almost 4,000 years. If you want to know the real history of this, it all goes back to that ET race called the Anunnaki that came here to Earth to mine the gold. Now, they were here for thousands and thousands of years of mining the gold. And when they were done and they were getting ready to leave, and this is recorded in the ancient Sumerian tablets, it said that they had received a divine decree from what we would call God that they were to create these royal bloodline families that would rule over the humans until the right appointed time. And that was the dragon families. And what the Anunnaki had done, they had this massive amount of gold that was extra and it was left over, and they gave it to the dragon family. And since that time, excuse me here, my nose itches. Okay. Since that time, they have had more gold than anybody on this planet, and they still do. They have been accumulating gold over these thousands of years, and they have this massive amount of gold that is what is called it's off-market gold, which means it's not a part of the gold accounting that everybody has and all the countries have and stuff like that. But they have this massive amount of gold, and it is there. Now, the gold is spread all around the world, but there is one primary source that is there in Hong Kong. And in the workshops, and also I think on the program here a couple times, I've shared this one picture. And I was told when I first became acquainted with the dragon family 10 years ago that spot, that picture was underneath the new airport in Hong Kong. But those were just stories, and I wasn't quite sure. Well, this time I was able to get it verified because I had asked the ambassador, that picture, is that the place that you had explained it to me? Is that the place that's underneath the new airport in Hong Kong? And he said, yes, it is. And that is the single largest gold storage facility within the world. Now, I came really close to going in there with him on this trip because, see, this money that was coming from India, some of it was for him personally, and others of it was actual gold that was going to be shipped from India and going to be placed there in that. And that place where they call it the cave. So, and I was at that time I was going to be able to go into the cave with him. So they have this massive amount of gold, the dragon family does. But what they have always said is this gold isn't ours, it belongs to humanity. And we are just guardians and caretakers of it, and it's to be released at the right appropriate time. And folks, this is the time. For thousands of years we've been waiting, and now is the time they're going to start releasing it. Now, they don't actually release the physical gold. The gold is used as the collateral for the funds that will be released through the Texas Processing Office that I have explained to you where all this money is. All that money in the Texas Processing Office is the dragon family that funds it, and it's all backed by that gold. The gold is the collateral for all of those funds that are there. Now, so we've been waiting for this, some of us, for 10 years. And folks, what I can say is we're close. There is a potential. Now, I want to express the word potential because sometimes things can change. There's a potential we can see this process starting in 2 to 3 months. But there's some elements that have to take place first. And the first thing, and that's why even back, I think 3 or 4 months ago, I was saying we were a couple months away. Well, the first thing that had to happen was the ambassador had to receive the funds from India. And that's what kept the delay going over and over and over again. Okay? He now has it. And then the second thing is there has to be a meeting with President Trump, and there has to be a specific message that is relayed to him. Now, as of now, I will be involved in that. Now, that's subject to change, but as of now, I will be involved in that. And there's a specific message that is relayed to him. Once he receives that message and acts upon it, then it's time to allow our Texas processing funds to be released for all of us that have purchased the dong. The ambassador himself is the man that has the authority of when those funds will be released. Now, he doesn't call them himself. There's a representative from U.S. Treasury that will be contacting the Texas Processing Office. Well, the Dragon family has a representative, a family representative that basically is involved or works inside the U.S. Treasury. So that person will then contact them. And once that process starts, then it's still going to take a couple of months for funds to get to us. Because here's what happens: once we know that the Texas Processing Office gets to start on releasing the funds, all of you that are clients that have turned in the currencies, you're going to be sent new paperwork. You're going to have to do some new paperwork, fill it out, and then we have to do a background security check on everybody to make sure there's no felony convicts that are involved in these funds that are being released to them. All that has to be done. Then we will start the process. Now, I don't have an exact answer how and how often that money is going to be released. That will come later. But what, as of now, if it's possible, what will happen is there will be a single large sum of maybe about $100,000 that will be sent to everybody. I don't know yet if it's going to be a money wire transfer or a physical check, but that's what's going to be sent out. And then, as I said, we're going to set up the credit union. You're going to get some initial money so you can have something that you can work with to do some of the things you want to do. The credit union will be set up, and then all of you that have funds, you will be established as clients within the credit union, and your remaining funds will be deposited in your account, and then it's your money to do with whatever it is that you want to do. So that's the scoop. That is where we are, and that is what is happening with us for right now, and that is what is going on in the currency exchange, the release of the funds, the time that I've been spending in Hong Kong. And I said the biggest reason of the long delay was because we were waiting for the funds to come back from India. I will be going back to Hong Kong within the next week or so. I don't have the exact timing yet. I had to finish this program here tonight, and then I'll be talking some more with the ambassador, because we talk on the phone we use Facebook calling, and we're talking at least once or twice a day. And so I'll be heading back there, and I will be giving updates as it is possible for what is taking place there, okay? So that's the scoop of what is going on, folks. That's the story that is taking place. And what that means is it says we could be 2, 3, 4 months away, possibly. There's a very high probability that's the timeline when our funds are going to start being released, and we've been waiting for up to 10 years for that. So that's what I have to share. Now, if any of you have any questions, what I can do, I can look and see what I got here on Facebook, and also if you're on free conference call, you can put yourself in what is called the queue for a question, and then I can bring you on the air and also answer anything there. So, yeah, I'm going through all the stuff here that was posted here on there on Facebook, and I'm not seeing anything. Okay, now there is Lavelle, that you basically want to be able to come on the air, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, and let's see, I have to okay, I think I have to okay, Lavelle, you're there. Can you hear me on the air? Can you say, let me see if you're coming through. I Okay, now try it. There we go. I think I might have brought you on there now, okay? How am I? You should be able to come through here now. Let's try this one here. Okay. Uh, the person from area code 203, can you come through? I don't know what is taken for that to come through. Why am I not? No, that's not what I want to do. That doesn't work. I don't know. Uh, I guess it's not working. Yeah, for some reason, I'm not getting you to come through. But let me see here now. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Uh, Ryan, you're saying, does our currency exchange have to align with all other currency exchanges RV around the world, or can ours come in exchange happen separately? There is only one currency exchange, Ryan. See, everybody, you have to come back to everything goes through the Texas processing office. Now, we may have ours a little bit earlier than theirs, but there is, I always say for all those others, where are they getting their money? Who has the trillions of dollars that's paying for what they talk about? It always comes from the Dragon family. They are the only ones that have this kind of money. So, uh, right. Now, do I know the potential tax implications for people within the United States? No, we do not have an answer to that at this time. We are hearing rumors that it will not be taxed, but we don't know that. It's just a rumor. What I tell folks is plan on paying a capital gains tax just to be safe. Now, then from Rich, is the ambassador giving you money to start the credit union? Yes, he will be. He will be doing that, okay? Okay, so Dave, Daniel Bear, that you want to be a part of the program. It's too late to come in. There's no more dong available to sell. Now, there is a possibility sometimes some people they cancel, and there are sometimes that more money comes available, and the processing office lets me know, and I send out an email to everybody when that is possible. But I wouldn't count on it. If you are not a part of the program, if you have not purchased any of the dong, I don't think you're going to be able to make it into this one. But the ambassador has made it clear that this is only the start of the program. There will probably be more rounds coming or more phases coming down the road after this one, so you'll want to stay in touch, okay? Okay, about again, Judith on paying taxes. Still have to sign over access. Yes, you basically you're asking the question: are you going to be able to let the Dragon family or representatives like myself have access to your bank account? And the answer is yes. That is part of the paperwork that you will sign, that you will allow us to have access to your bank account. Now, as I mentioned, we're not going to go out and hiring 10,000 people who are going to be watching your bank account every single day. That's not it at all. This is a security issue. The family is very adamant about making sure that this funds does not get into the hands of drug dealers, terrorists, and criminals like that. If money like this should end up in their hands, they want to be able to trace back where did it fall apart and how did it happen. And that's what they will end up doing. But that's only if something like that happens. And Gary says, can you start the paperwork early now? No, I don't have it, and I'm not going to do that until it's time. What possible message do you have to share with the president? And do you think he might want to get? I cannot share that. That is confidential, and I have absolutely no idea. I don't know, but I never would share that. That is a confidential issue. John, you're saying that it seems like for security reasons and to the beta test the RV Vril. That's right. But we will actually do a beta test before then. What I will do is I'll probably send out maybe like $50 first to make sure that your checking account is the right one, because I could end up transposing a number, you could end up transposing a number, and we could end up sending money to the wrong account somehow. So there'll be a test first, like maybe around $50 to make sure it's the right account, and then we'll release the 100,000 from there. No, I am not going to start the new NDA paperwork now. Okay, I already said that. And then what is going on with the ZIM? The ZIM will be paid after the dong. It will come out after the dong. Is the going rate $1.35 or $1.50? Remember, I already sent it out. The rate will be $1.35 per dong. We had to basically drop that on a 10% drop so that we could bring some more people in. Can you open other accounts in the credit union? I would assume so. I don't have all those answers at this time. Does this release have to do with the new digital US dollar stablecoins? No, it's fiat currency, money you can spend in your checking account that is in a bank, and I don't know anything about the digital US dollar stablecoins, okay? All right? Uh, let's see. As I'm going down through the questions, Annie, I have absolutely no idea about your contract. I don't have any of that work in front of me. Approximately how many participants do I currently have in the exchange? I'm approaching almost 4,000 are the number of clients that I have. And the bonds will be paid after the dong as well. Yes. I've already mentioned about the taxes. I have no idea if we're going to have to pay taxes or not, but plan on the fact uh, that you'll have to pay capital gains taxes. And then Danny, could this pay before the private groups? I don't know what you mean about the private groups. What private groups? Folks, remember, there's only one source of the funds, and that's the Dragon family, okay? XRP Ledger RLUSD, John, I have absolutely no idea what you mean about that. But no, I am not paying out in XRP or anything like that. You're getting paid cash that goes in your bank account, okay? Does this now come down to Trump? Is he guaranteed to say, I can't answer that and I will not answer anything about him, okay? I will not answer anything about that. That's confidential, so don't ask me anything about the meeting with Trump. The private groups he was referring to are the Reno groups. Uh, the Reno groups get paid through the Texas Processing Office. Everything goes through that. The Reno groups are a part of the Texas Processing Office, just as I am a separate client in the Texas Processing Office, and I would assume that our group will get paid before them because I'm the one that has direct contact with the funders. Nobody else has contact with the Dragon families and with the ambassador, who is the one who is announcing when the funds will be released. Okay? Oh, he won't make the announcement to us publicly. He will tell them, but I'll know it before anybody else. Will all groups be paid out at the same rate? I have no idea. Depends on the contract that you have with what other group you're in. And then Charlene says, I have Dong, but I didn't get it through to you. Does that disqualify me from being part of the program? As of now, yes, I am not taking in any physical currency. If you have physical Dong, my suggestion is take it to your bank and have them deposit into your bank account. I don't know any the brokers are not taking in physical currency anymore that I am aware of. Carlos, are we still under an NDA? Yes, you are. You are under a non-disclosure agreement. Now, here's the issue. I don't mind if you share it with family, close friends, and stuff like that of what's going on. But do not put any of this stuff on the internet. Because once you put that on the internet, you lose control and you will become a target for attacks if you put anything like that on the internet. Okay, where will the credit union be located, or will it be completely online? It'll probably be located here in Sedona, but for your information, for most of you, it'll be an online issue. Okay. All right. So questions are still continuing to come in. Okay. So And Hania, this says, yes, you've been waiting 6 years. I've been doing this for 10 years. So we're continuing, to for there. And Shelly, thank you. Okay. So, folks, that's pretty much all that I have for tonight, unless there's any more questions that are coming in. I've kind of shared with you all of the relevant information that is there, the timing. I said the first thing is I have to go back to Hong Kong to meet with the ambassador. And then after that, shortly after that, he's going to send me, and I'm to meet with President Trump. I'm not the only one. I think there's others that'll be involved in that. And then after that, depends on that meeting, that of when the funds will be released. Daniel, if I respond to your emails, I don't recall getting any emails from you, Daniel Bear. I don't recall getting any emails from you. I respond to all the emails that come my way. Okay. Barrett, do we still need to have nonprofit? I have a small business. Is that okay to use in our profit business? I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to not use a for profit business. Your taxes will double or triple. Use a nonprofit. Set up a nonprofit account, an LLC, because I mean, it's what you want to do with that is your business. But, if you're not using an LLC and if you're doing it as an individual, your taxes are going to be much, much higher. Okay? All right. So I think that's it, folks. I think I'm ready to call it an evening, and I'll keep you updated as we go along with anything that happens. Okay. So thanks a lot, and I don't know if there'll be a program next week, but I'll announce it in the newsletter. Okay. All righty. Thanks a lot. Okay. Bye bye.